Karoline Leavitt, his press secretary, the woman who keeps insisting Trump didn't draw this or sign this in 2003, she was 5 years old. She was too young even for Jeffrey Epstein in 2003. But she knows. We know. They're all... I love that these people are so certain he didn't do this.
With all due respect to former President Obama, he has no idea what he's talking about. The decision to fire Jimmy Kimmel and to cancel his show came from executives at ABC. That has now been reported, and I can assure you it did not come from the White House, and there was no pressure given from the President of the United States. And how do I know that, Kaylee? Because I was with the President of the United States when this news broke in the United Kingdom.
Jimmy Kimmel looked straight into the camera, rolled the clip of the president gushing over his 28-year-old press secretary's lips, and asked the only question any normal workplace would ask. Does the White House have HR? That single line summed up Kimmel's entire point. Funny because it's true, brutal because it's obvious. The segment didn't need flashy editing or a gotcha interview. It only needed Trump's own words, a studio full of people collectively wincing, and a host who knows exactly how to turn "this is not okay" into a laugh that still lingers the next morning.
Answer this. I didn't realize she'd be in the room, but she's on my list. Karoline Leavitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star, and she's great. She's a great person, actually, but she's I don't think anybody has ever had a better press secretary than Karoline. She's been amazing.
If you support Jimmy Kimmel, make sure to subscribe to the channel and comment one thing you admire most about him, because at this point, we're all Jimmy Kimmel. Now, let's rewind about 30 seconds before the laughter. The setup was simple. The president, mid-giggle aboard Air Force One, praising Karoline Leavitt in words better suited for a magazine cover than a press briefing. He promised he'd never replace her and even joked that her lips move like a machine gun. Kimmel didn't exaggerate it, he simply played the clip, let the audience sit in the second-hand embarrassment, and then delivered the punch with perfect deadpan precision.
Wrap like immediately. Is that right? How's Karoline doing? She doing good?
Wait,
Should Karoline be replaced?
no. That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to.
It'll never
I say she does a great job. Thank you. Do you want to elaborate on the
And those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the
Does the White House have HR? The room cracked up because that's the one thing this White House never seems to plan for. An adult in the building whose job is to say, "Sir, no, that's what you call being exposed on live TV." Not because Kimmel revealed some hidden truth, but because he stripped away the spin. In just 2 lines, he made the power imbalance unmistakable. A man in his 70s objectifying a woman in her 20s, on government time, aboard a government plane, as if dignity were optional, and boundaries were something only interns had to learn.
Donald Trump actually said our new military will bring back new focus on fitness. I love the idea that Trump is lecturing these guys on fitness. I mean, if that isn't the fondue pot calling the kettle fat, I don't know what is. Listen up, generals. I want to make something very clear. The Pillsbury Dope president wants you to do Pilates. The only push-ups Donald Trump does are from the side of an ice cream truck. If you get so fat you start breaking escalators, you are unfit to serve in the military.
You know, I don't really know how much he weighs. I can tell you one thing, that if you would ask me what should you do for fitness, I would just say run around yourself 3 times. You're going to be in great shape. You know?
Late night becomes deadly effective when it places nonsense right next to normal. Viewers instantly feel which side of that split screen they belong to. Everyone recognizes the office guy who talks about women's bodies like it's part of his charm. Everyone understands why HR exists. And to see why Karoline Leavitt was already a viral TV figure before Kimmel even touched the clip, you have to go back to one earlier broadcast. Moment June 24, 2024. Live on CNN.
That the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world. And that
fantasy is more powerful than reality in this MAGA sphere we live in, which meant it was time for our commander in cheeseburger to weigh in on one of the most pressing issues our military faces today. Unattractive.
Back then, Karoline, serving as a campaign spokeswoman, sat down for an interview and decided to attack the network's moderators instead of answering their questions. Casey Hunt abruptly cut her off mid-rant and ended the segment live on air. That moment exploded across morning shows, panel discussions, and a full week of "Are we really doing this?" debates. That clip became the turning point, the moment Karoline Leavitt cemented herself as a recurring figure in the media world. A spokesperson who approached interviews like cage fights.
Karoline Leavitt, who's sick, she's out of control. And I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone cold liar, or all of the above. But the notion that an official White House spokesperson would say that the Democratic Party consists of terrorists, violent criminals, and undocumented immigrants, this makes no sense. That this is what the American people are getting from the Trump administration in the middle of a shutdown. So their actions continue to speak for themselves, which is why they're on the wrong side of public sentiment. Thanks. Yeah.
And he's already figured out where to get the money. Trump today became the first president to sue the New York Times. He's suing the New York Times for $15 billion for defamation. $15 billion. Where does he even come up? These are like numbers my children make up when they're talking about money. I thought he said the New York Times was failing. He thinks they have $15 billion?
Fast forward to 2025, she's now the face of the briefing room. And the most powerful man in the White House can't seem to stop commenting on her face. Kimmel didn't create this narrative. He exposed it. She's not just a political spokesperson, she's a young woman being publicly objectified by the very boss who hired her. While the nation is expected to find it charming, this is where Kimmel proves he's more of an editor than just a comedian. He knows the easy route would be to mock Leavitt herself, replay her snarky moments, and add the CNN cutoff for laughs. But he doesn't fall for that. He goes deeper. His real target is the corruption underneath it all.
House Press Secretary apparently inadvertently admitted that Tom Homan was in a meeting with undercover FBI agents. She made that admission yesterday when she got carried away in saying something that no one else has said. She claimed Mr. Homan never took the $50,000.
Did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Homan have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Homan did absolutely nothing wrong.
It's a workplace culture shaped by the man at the top. When Kimmel brings up HR, he's not calling out an employee, he's calling out the boss. That's what makes the joke land across political lines. You don't need to dislike the administration to see that a president complimenting a subordinate's lips like he's narrating a calendar isn't leadership, it's a live HR training video. And it fits perfectly with Kimmel's signature 2025 approach to Trump. Play the tape, show the receipts, and ask one simple, real-world question.
Trump announced the suit this morning. He wrote, "Today I have the great honor of bringing a $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times, one of the worst and most degenerate newspapers in the history of our country. The Times has engaged in a decades-long method of lying about your favorite president, me, my family business, the America First movement, MAGA, and our nation as a whole. The New York Times has been allowed to freely lie, smear, and defame me for far too long, and that..."
After his unexpected suspension in September and swift return, Kimmel came back stronger than ever, not desperate for applause, but focused on proving his point. He's been noticeably calmer than the chaos surrounding him, which only makes his punches hit harder. And since Trump and his circle can't resist firing back, Kimmel's sharp one-liners keep snowballing into two-day headlines, the exact opposite of what any communication team wants when their boss has just said something wildly inappropriate.
The president has been hard at work coming up with all sorts of nonsense to distract us from the Epstein files, including, I don't know if you saw this, but he made a major announcement. "I am ordering my administration to declassify and release all government records related to Amelia Earhart, her final chip and everything else about her. Thank you for your attention."
So first of all, who told her that Mr. Homans never took the $50,000? Who told her that? Was it Mr. Homans? He has not dared to say that himself, and no one else has dared to say that. But what you saw there, in her frenzied attempt to claim that Tom Homan never took the $50,000, she actually just said, quote, "You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters," end quote. So there you have the president's press secretary admitting that Tom Homan was in a meeting with undercover FBI agents. That's the White House confirming at least that fact. That's the White House officially confirming that Tom Homan was in a meeting with undercover FBI agents.